the first thing that you have to understand is your mindset. If you want to change your life over the next 12 months, the first thing that you have to work on is your mindset. And this is one of those things that people hate talking about because most people are so oblivious to this. But if you do not have the right mindset, it is going to be impossible for you to ever achieve any sort of real financial wealth. And when I say mindset, what I mean by that is now the way you look at money, the way you look at success, the way you look at successful people. Because most of us have this limited, scarcity, hating mindset. We hate people who are successful. We have this limited mindset that if you're successful, I can't be successful. We're always counting other people's pennies. We're not worried about what we're doing, and we're always worried about what other people think. But if that's the way you think, if your mindset is broke, it is going to be impossible for you to ever achieve any sort of wealth. And this is so hard because many of us, and I get this because I've been there, many of us have it ingrained in us that when we're growing up, we keep hearing, oh, we can't afford that. And so you think, I can't afford that. And then you tell your kids, we can't afford that for nice things that you might want to have. You tell yourself that rich people are bad, or they must have done something bad in order to have the nice car, in order to have the nice home, that they must have this like shady side to them. Or we start to think, oh, if you're rich, I can't be rich. We have this jealousy complex where, and people don't want to say it, but when you see somebody else who's successful, the first thing you want to do is find the excuses as to how they got there. You come up with they had rich parents, they had this given to them, they had that given to them, anything except the fact that they might have worked hard, they might have done something, they might have taken a risk, they might have sacrificed something in order to get to where they are. And this is where now, if you want to become successful, instead of looking at the luck, because yeah, of course there's an element of luck to it. Nobody gets there all by themselves. I mean, it takes effort, it takes risk, it takes skill, but of course luck with it. And the harder you work and the more effort you put in, the luckier you're going to be. This is kind of how it works. But without understanding the effort, without understanding the risk, without understanding the sacrifice, you were never going to become successful yourself. And then if you keep hating, if you keep blaming, it is never going to be possible for you. If you keep saying that I cannot be successful because of who the president is, if you can't be successful because of the way that I look, if I can't become successful because of where I grew up, if I can't become successful because of who my parents are, if I can't become successful because of the way I was raised, I can't become successful because of who my spouse is, it is going to be impossible because you've already built that fence. You've already built that barrier saying that you cannot become successful. How do you expect to do it if you tell yourself you're not smart enough, if you're not successful enough, if you're not good looking enough, if you're not cool enough, if you don't have whatever it takes to go out and do it? If you want to do something, you have to almost become stupid. And the reason why I say stupid is because that's what I called myself when I was going through my entrepreneurial journey. Everybody told me that somebody like me, who didn't have any business experience, who didn't know any business people, didn't have any entrepreneurial experience, didn't know anything about money, no one in my family is an investor. No one in my family is an entrepreneur. I grew up being told that I need to become a doctor. I studied hard in school, and the only thing that I knew was studying and medicine. That was it. I don't know anything about money management, financial education, entrepreneurship. This was a completely foreign world, and everybody, I'm talking about my family, I'm talking about my friends, everyone that was close to me kept telling me that I was throwing the sacrifices that my parents made away by trying to do something dumb and being an entrepreneur. Now, what I didn't know was all the risks that I would have to take, all the hard work that I was going to have to put in, all the time that I was going to have to sacrifice, and all the stress that comes with being an entrepreneur. If I knew all that going in, maybe I wouldn't have done it, but I was stupid. I was ignorant. And I just wanted to do something different because that was really important to me. Not because I wanted to prove it to somebody else, although I did really want to prove the world wrong. But I did it because that was something that was important to me. And I was willing to do whatever it took. And that's why I went that route. And for me, my mindset was, I'm just working on today. I'm just working on making the next dollar. I'm just working on trying to figure out the next thing. It wasn't trying to get to necessarily a destination more than like, this is what I want to do. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I knew that I was going to do something big. I just didn't know when or how or what. And I had this like dumb belief. I don't know where it came from, but I had this dumb belief that I knew that I was going to do it and nothing was going to stop me. I kept reading books. I kept listening to audiobooks. I kept learning from people because I didn't have access to people in my network. I tried to go out and find people. And you have to just have this dumb belief that you can do something, that you can earn more money, that you can become successful, that you can have the things that you want, because without that belief, it is going to be completely impossible. And this is where now you have to start with that mindset and shift your mindset to understanding that there's an abundance of money out there. The Federal Reserve Bank is printing trillions and trillions of dollars. There's a lot of money in the world. All you need is a teeny tiny little piece of that if you want to become extremely financially successful. It's just a small little sliver of it, which means you have to figure out how can you attract that money? How can you get somebody else to give you money in exchange for something that you're offering? What value can you provide? Can you create something? Can you build something? Can you teach something? Can you offer something? What is this value that you can provide that somebody else is willing to give you their money for, or somebody's going to be willing to give you their time for, or somebody's going to be willing to give you their attention for? Once you have that, making the money is the easy part, but you have to be able to grasp that value and that attention, and you can't do that unless you believe it's possible. So sometimes you got to be a little bit stupid, that way you can actually believe that somebody like you can do it. Not saying it's not possible, but you got to believe that you can do it before anybody else is going to believe that you can do it. The second thing that holds so many people, the majority of Americans, from ever achieving any sort of financial wealth ever, let alone in the next 12 months, is a lifestyle. Most people assume that the reason why I can't build any wealth, the reason why I can't save money, the reason why I can't invest money is because I'm not making any money. I'm not making enough money. And so when you ask the majority of people what would fix their financial problems right now, they say making more money. If I just made an extra $10,000 a year, all my financial problems will be solved. If I made an extra 50 grand a year, oh my God, I'd be living so free. But what ends up happening statistically is when somebody makes more money, their lifestyle inflates. You get a new raise, you get a new car, you get a big bonus, you go on a nice vacation. It's one of those things where we keep thinking that the success is at the end of this next journey. As soon as I get to this next chapter, I make this new income. Now, all of a sudden, all my financial problems will go away. But you keep digging yourself into a bigger financial hole, because what happens to so many people is anytime you make more money, you inflate your lifestyle. And the quickest way for you to increase your wealth is next time you get a raise, next time you get a bonus, you don't inflate your lifestyle. You make more money without inflating your lifestyle. That way you have more money to invest. If you really want to become successful, now I'm talking about really successful, is you got to go through what I call the decade of sacrifice. And this decade of sacrifice is you live small and you're working to earn more money. And then you have this margin with your income. Now, what you're doing with this margin is you're not just saving it. Obviously, you want to have some savings, but you want to take this money and now you want to put this money to work. You want to invest this money. If you put in a solid decade of sacrifice, of you hustling, of you living small, of you trying to make more money, I guarantee you are going to surprise yourself at how much wealth you can build. I don't care how much money you're making. Obviously, you want to work to earn more money. The more money you earn, the more potential you have to make more wealth. But if you start doing this and you really work to live small, cut out the expenses while you're working to earn more money, and you take that money that you're not spending and you invest it, you are going to surprise yourself and the world at how free you're going to be. And everybody is going to be looking at you like, how did you do it? Because then you're going to have the opportunity to sleep a whole lot easier, go on nicer vacations, drive a nicer car, have the better things without worrying about the price, because you went through that sacrifice and most people are not willing to do. If you want to do what the majority of people are not doing, you can't keep doing what the majority of people do. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.